is going to be episode 2 of the podcast. Today we're going to be doing an NBA episode, and the topics are going to be the Lakers' struggles, my top 3 most overrated players, talking about Brook Lopez returning, Steph Curry's injury, and is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer? So, the day that I'm recording this is March 17th, so something could have happened, like an update on Steph Curry or something like that. Just anything could happen, really. But the first topic is the Lakers' struggle. So the Lakers haven't even won a game since the All-Star break unless LeBron has scored 50 points. So they're 2-9 since the All-Star break. And they are the ninth seed right now, and they would play the Pelicans in the play-in. If the season were to end and like they had to play the Pelicans, I honestly don't know if they could even beat them. They lost by like 20 something to them a couple weeks ago. It all depends on how LeBron plays. If he scores more than 30, I think they can. If he scores less than 30, then no. And it also depends if they have Anthony Davis, but I don't think they will. I think he'll still be out. I think it'll be close, but I think the Lakers would still win because the Pelicans, um, they don't even have Zion, and I don't know if he'll come back on time, but yeah, I think the Lakers will still win, but they'll have to win twice because they're the ninth seed to get into the playoffs. Um, Also, Westbrook is shooting 9% from three since the All-Star break, so that is really bad. That's like if someone gave you 10 three-point attempts, you're most likely not even gonna make one because it's less than 10%. That is not good. I mean, he's never been a good three-point shooter, but that's low for him. Normally he shoots like at least 25%, but 9%. Um, Also like the Lakers struggles also like Anthony Davis is just never healthy and he hasn't really been that good since the bubble season. Like last year he only averaged like 20 points I think it was and he barely played. This season he's he's had a couple games where he's been really good, but again he's just injury prone and he's been injured, and he brings a lot of defense and scoring and rebounding, and that's what the Lakers need. They're they're a way worse defensive team than last season. Last season they were the number one ranked defense with Caruso, but and KCP, but now they're the 17th best ranked defense or something like that. They're definitely not as good. They're bottom five in points allowed per game, and yeah, they are just not looking good. And also, THT is just not good, and he just hasn't lived up to the expectations this season. People like Bleacher Report, they had him as like the number one ranked youngest player. They had him over like people like SGA, Joe Morant. They had him at one over like Darius Garland and stuff like that. I don't know. He just is not good, like at all. He's not efficient. He doesn't score. His defense is good. I will say that. But yeah, the Lakers need to pick it up to at least try to get to the seventh or eighth seed, so they only have to win one game to get into the playoffs. Because I don't know if they could win two games in a row, honestly. The next topic is top three most overrated players currently. My most overrated players. So I already know a lot of people aren't gonna agree with this like at all, except probably one. But at number one, the most overrated player in the league to me is LaMelo Ball. And I know people are gonna be like, he was an all-star, but he didn't deserve it. His stats on the season are 19.7 points, 6.9 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 42% from the field, and 37% from the three-point line. This is why I think he's overrated. He's first off, he's shooting worse from the field than last year. Even worse than his rookie year. How do you go down? Aren't you supposed to be improving your efficiency every single year? Also, he's a bad defender. Just a really bad defender. He's one of the worst defensive guards. He's better than I mean, he does get a lot of steals, but it's because he's pretty quick. But just because you get a lot of steals doesn't mean you're a good defensive player. Also, he has the IQ of like a hamster. He like I forgot what game I was watching, but it was a close game. And they had like 24 they still had like 20 seconds on the shot clock and he decides to shoot from the logo. Like you still have 20 seconds, you can create a better shot. And especially like okay, like if it was the middle of the game, it wouldn't have been that bad, but when you're about to finish a game and it's close, he just takes a lot of bad shots. Whenever I watch the Hornets, I always see him at least take 1 to 2 bad shots a game. Like his shot decisions just are not good. Also, he's always in foul trouble. I think he averages like 3.5 fouls per game. He's like top 10 in fouls per game. Like as a guard, you're not supposed to be fouling that much. It's mostly for forwards because they're going for blocks and um point guards are attacking them and trying to get to the basket, and obviously they're gonna get more foul calls. But how do you average 3.5 to 4 fouls per game as a guard, and you don't even play defense? How? Also, he throws a lot of turnovers. 3.2 a game compared to 7 assists. That's not that good. Yeah, I don't know. Also, he's just shouldn't have been an all-star. And everybody tries to say that he's a top 30 player. He's better than DeJounte Murray, which he's not. DeJounte Murray shoots better from the field, more rebounds, more assists, same amount of scoring, way better defender, averages more steals. The only thing he's better at is a three-point shooter, LaMelo, than DeJounte Murray, and he's still not good. At number two, I have Devin Booker. And I know people are gonna be like, I know this one's probably gonna get the most people mad because people have him as a top 15 player, as the best shooting guard in the NBA. His stats are 25.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, 4.9 assists. He's shooting 45% from field goal, 37% from the 3-point line. First off, this is his worst field goal percentage in 3 years. LaMelo Ball is shooting the same amount from the 3-point line, and all he can do is score. He's an okay playmaker. He's not a good rebounder. Literally, that's the only thing he can do is score, and he's still not efficient. How are you only good at one thing and you're still not efficient at it? He's a bad defender. It has improved. You know, he's an okay defender, but he's still not the best. He's not better than Zach LaVine or Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's a better playmaker. They're the same amount of scorers. They shoot the same from the field. I mean, come on. And they're almost the same amount. They almost average the same amount of rebounds. And Donovan Mitchell is like 4 inches smaller than him. Than Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is just way better than the two. He averages the same amount of points. He's way more efficient than them. Averages more rebounds. And he's just better. Devin Booker, like, he went from underrated to overrated so quickly. Like, people weren't giving him enough credit, but now people are overrating him. People say he should have been a starter. Who are you taking out for him to be a starter? And also, he's just a crybaby. Like, if you watch Suns games, literally like every play, he cries about fouls. And he got mad at a mascot for doing their job. Like, what do you want the mascot to do? To just sit there? Yeah, I don't know. He just gets annoying. Like, really annoying. Um, then at number three, I have Russell Westbrook. Uh, he averages 17.9 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 turnovers per game, 43% from the field, and 27% from the 3-point line. Okay, Westbrook, he can't score. I had him at 3 because I feel like people are starting to realize that he's just not good. He can't score. 17.9 points per game. What is that? He throws a lot of turnovers. I think he's second behind James Harden. He's a garbage defender, not good at all. He makes horrible decisions, especially down the stretch, like in the clutch. I have the Laker channel, so I watch most of their games, and literally, he just makes the worst decisions ever. His dunking percentage is at 62% for dunks. It's supposed to be in the 85s, 90s. They're literally dunks, and he's shooting 60%. That means out of 10 dunks, he only makes around 6. Come on. Like, and I'm pretty sure at the rim, he's shooting like 60% also. Like, he's just not good at all. And also, I want to say this. I heard that he said that him and his family are receiving literal death threats for him not playing good. That's way too far. Like, you can say he's bad, but that's like way too far to send death threats over how someone plays. Like, I know that happened to Danny Green when he missed that shot in the bubble in the finals, but that's taking it too far. So yeah, those are my most overrated players at 1, LaMelo Ball, 2, Devin Booker, and 3, Russell Westbrook. Then, now we're going to be talking about Steph Curry's injury. So, at the moment, Steph Curry, he may return for the playoffs, they have said. He tore something in his leg, and this happened when Marcus Smart jumped for the ball and he landed on his leg, and Steve Kerr was like talking to Marcus Smart saying you can't do that, but like it doesn't look like he did it on purpose. Like he was just jumping for the ball. Like if you would have like tried to tackle him, then okay, but come on, like that nobody injures people on purpose. Like it didn't even look like he did it on purpose, like at all. So I don't know why people are so mad at Marcus Smart. Now the Warriors for the rest of the regular season. There's about 15 games left in the regular season for every team. They have Draymond Green. Clay Thompson hasn't really been good this season. He had a couple good games. Uh, honestly, if they're playing 15 games, I think they win like 6 and probably lose 9. Um, the big 3 on that team only got to play one game and like not even a full second game because when Clay came back, Draymond was injured. Then he came back, they played one game where Steph Curry dropped like 42 points, and then the next game Steph Curry got injured. So they haven't even gotten to play that much this season. Um, if he doesn't return for the playoffs, this will change the playoff. Like if he's out for the rest of the season, this will like change the playoffs drastically. This will instantly make the Suns favorites for sure because I think the Warriors are the only team that can really compete with the Suns because Chris Paul's gonna actually, I don't know if Chris Paul will be back. I think he will be back for the playoffs. But, I mean, Chris Paul's not the only reason they're this good. I don't think they would be a number 1 seed without Chris Paul, but they have really good players on that team, like DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. Devin Booker's still good. He's just overrated. Um, they have good bench pieces in JaVale McGee, Campaign, Cameron Johnson. Um, but yeah, this will instantly make the Suns favorites, and it depends on who the Warriors play, but if they're playing hard teams, I don't even think they make it out the second round. Like, seriously, it depends on who they play, but if they play like, if they play like a Memphis or something somehow, which I don't think they will. No, they'll play like the Mavericks or something probably. Honestly, I could see the Mavericks winning. I mean, we already know how good Luka is in the playoffs, and they're not gonna have that solidified number 1 scorer on the Warriors. Like, I know Steph Curry hasn't really been good for like half of the season already, but he's still a good offensive player. Like he's up this playmaking a lot. Their best scorer will probably be Jordan Poole because Clay hasn't really been playing that good. But if they want to win, Clay's gonna have to average 22, 23 points per game. Draymond's only gonna give you like 8, 10 points, but he's giving you elite defense and elite playmaking for his position. And yeah, I think if Steph Curry's out for the rest of the playoffs, for sure the Suns make it out the West. And this will just make it a lot easier for other teams like Memphis, the Mavericks, the Clippers if they make the playoffs. Like all these teams, it'll just make it easier because if they face the Warriors, it'll be easier. Or they might not even face the Warriors. The Warriors might lose in the first round. So this just makes it easier for the rest of the West. But I don't know. It all depends. Next, I am going to talk about Brook Lopez. So Brook Lopez has played, I think, one game with the Bucks now. Um, he has only played 2 games this season. I think after the first game of the season, he injured his back, and then he had to get back surgery, and then he finally made his return a couple days ago. But this team is just so much better with Brook Lopez on the floor because he provides a lot of spacing with Giannis on the floor, which obviously wants spacing so Giannis could get to the paint easily because that's obviously where he's the best. And they didn't really have that. I mean, with Serge Ibaka, you do get spacing, and with Bobby Portis, but this just adds more. It just adds more space. The more spacing, spacing's never a bad thing, and especially when Giannis is on your team, it's just way better. He also provides more shot blocking and more defense at the rim for when Giannis can't get there on time or like he's stuck behind a screen or something. But yeah, Brook Lopez isn't like the best defender, but he's definitely decent. He could block a couple shots. Like he could definitely average 1.5 blocks per game. Uh, he's a pretty good defender at the rim. Um, Also, now we got more size at center now because Portis was starting before, and Portis is like 6'9", 6'10", and Brook Lopez is 7 foot, 7'1", so that adds way more size. So people can't. So that like for floaters, for instance, like it's easy to get those over Bobby Portis, but with Brook Lopez, no, that's rare for that to happen. And also like when guards are trying to go up to the rim, it'll be harder against a bigger guy. And also now, I don't know what's gonna happen with Bobby Portis. I don't know if they'll bring him to the bench or they'll start him over Brook Lopez for the rest of the season. I don't know because Bobby Portis has really played good. He's averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds, and almost a block per game. And he's shooting 42% from the 3-point line. He's exceeded at the starting position. So I don't know if Mike Budenholzer is gonna want to start Brook Lopez. I honestly, I say you take him off the bench. First off, you don't want to get him injured again, especially when the playoffs are right here. And also, this team has just played the whole season with Bobby Portis starting, and I think it'll throw things off. And it's not like Bobby Portis is bad. Like if he was playing garbage, then obviously put in Brook Lopez, but he's played really, really good. So I don't know why you would take him to the bench. I don't think they should, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing if they brought him to the bench. This question is always debatable. Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer? His career stats are 18.2 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game. His accolades are 3-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, 1-time MVP, and a Rookie of the Year, and an All-Rookie team. His MVP year stats: 25 points per game, 7.7 assists per game, 4.1 rebounds, and the Bulls, I'm pretty sure, were the number 1 seed that year. Now, I hate when people say prime Derrick Rose because we never really got to see prime Derrick Rose. because of all the injuries he had. Like people should just call him MVP Rose because he never got to his prime. I think he would have been way better than that if he would have stayed healthy. Um, in his prime, he was really fast and really athletic. Like really athletic. If you watch his highlights, he could literally he would like he's a point guard, so obviously he's not gonna be the tallest, but his head was literally touching the rim. Yeah, he was just really athletic. Right now, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't. Uh, to be in the Hall of Fame, I think he has to win a championship. He has to because there still may be a chance he gets in without the championship, but he definitely won't be first ballot. It'll take him a while. But yeah, if he wants to go first ballot or for sure lock in the Hall of Fame spot, he has to win a championship. But the thing about Derrick Rose is that he doesn't want to go to like he doesn't want to go to super teams. Like I'm pretty sure like he's been on Minnesota who this is probably their best season in a long time. Uh the Knicks are garbage. He was on the Pistons. Like he could have went other places, but I think he wants to win a ring just like the original way. Starting from when the team's bad and then going to that championship team and saying you've been there from the start, but he's too old for that. Like he doesn't have the time. And also the Knicks are just not gonna be championship contenders in the next 2 to 3 years. He needs to just go to a super team, and even if he barely plays, just get a championship. I think everyone wants to see him get a championship. If you really want to lock in that Hall of Fame spot, then do it. Like just go. I don't think anybody's really gonna be that mad because it's Derrick Rose, but yeah. Um, so I went through that really fast, and we're barely at 22 minutes. So I'm gonna have to talk about something else. Let's just talk about the Boston Celtics. So, ever since the All-Star break, the Boston Celtics have just been like, you can honestly say they've been the best team. They're currently 42 and 28. They're um they're 8 and 2 on their last 10 games. They're on a one-game winning streak right now, and I mean they've just looked like their best. Jason Tatum has averaged like 35 points since like 2 weeks ago. He's just been scoring at probably like the best level he has in his career. Jaylen Brown, obviously you know what you're gonna get out of him, 23, 24 points per game. He's a really good defender, good two-way player. Grant Williams has been a really good player for them. He's shooting 40% from three. He's also a really good defender. Boston just has a lot of good defenders. They have Robert Williams, who is one of the best shot blockers. I think he's top three in blocks per game. He just played really good this year. He's finally the starter. Um, Also, they have Marcus Smart, who is he just hustles a lot, and he's a really good defender. He gets a lot of steals. I think he's top five in steals. And yeah, they've just been really good for like a while now. They started off the year really badly. They were like 20 and 19 or something like that. They were like barely 500. People said that they weren't gonna make the playoffs, and I honestly thought that too. But I mean, now they're the fourth seed. The Bulls are now the fifth seed. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10 games. They got Caruso back, but they still haven't got Alonzo back. The Cavaliers have fallen off. They're 4 and 6 ever since Jarrett Allen um got injured. The Raptors are now in the play-in. The Nets, they've been looking really good lately, especially Kyrie. But yeah, the Celtics, I think, I don't know. I'm gonna go through all these playoff teams and say if I think they can beat them. Now, first off, the Cavaliers. they can definitely beat the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, don't get me wrong, they're good. They've exceeded all expectations. Nobody even thought they were going to be a 10 seed, and they're the 6 seed. Evan Mobley has just really elevated that team. Um, yeah, they could definitely beat the Cavaliers, and I don't even think it would be close. Probably in 5 games. I mean, who is stopping Jason Tatum? Who's stopping Jalen Brown? The, the Cavaliers team is just way too young, no experience. The Celtics have been to the Eastern Conference Finals with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. Yeah, they have the experience. Yeah, I think it would be in 5 games they win. The Chicago Bulls, if they have Lonzo Ball, ooh, this is close. Honestly, I think I take the Celtics in 6. It all depends on how DeMar DeRozan plays. He's never really been that good in the playoffs, and it really depends on how he plays. If he's playing at the level he's playing during the regular season, then I could for sure see the Bulls winning. But knowing that DeMar has never really been that good in the playoffs, I think I'm gonna take the Celtics in 7 games. 7 games. I think it's for sure going to 7 games. Um, now the 76ers. Huh, let me think. I think I'm taking the Sixers in 6 games. Who's stopping Joel Embiid? Robert Williams isn't. Uh, who's gonna guard James Harden? You probably put Jalen Brown on him, but the only thing is Jalen Brown. I mean, James Harden could play bad in the playoffs. He hasn't. James Harden hasn't played good in like the past 2 or 3 games. When he went back to Brooklyn, he was like 3 for 17 or something like that. And Joel Embiid, if he doesn't get a lot of free throws, he's not that good. I'm just gonna be honest. But they have Tyrese Maxey, who is just been really good since the All-Star break. He's definitely in the running for most improved player. They have Tobias Harris, who is he's on and off. Like he could have 20 points and then the next game have 8. Like it's really inconsistent with him, but he's a really good defender. I think he's a really underrated defender. And yeah, they have like Cork Moss off the bench. They have Matisse Thybulle, who they can put on Jason Tatum, who I think is their best defender. He's definitely in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. He's really good. Um, now, yeah, I just say they beat them in 6 games. The Bucks, I say six 6 games. I think the Bucks still come out on top over the Celtics. I mean, they're not gonna have an answer for Giannis. Chris Middleton, we know, could have a 30-point game any day of the week. They added Brook Lopez back, which adds spacing. There's Bobby Portis, there's Grayson Allen. But I think you put Giannis on Jason Tatum, he could definitely hold him to a normal amount of points. I mean, Jason Tatum is obviously not going to be fully stopped, but he could definitely hold him down. And then on Jalen Brown, you could put Drew Holiday on Jalen Brown, or you could do the opposite and put Drew Holiday on Jason Tatum and Giannis on Jalen Brown. But I think you probably put Giannis on Jason Tatum because of the size difference right there. Jason Tatum could just shoot over Drew Holiday, but he can't do that to Giannis. So yeah, I still have the Bucks winning, but it's 7 games, 7 games for sure. Um, I mean 6 games, 6 games. I meant, but yeah. Now against the number 1 seed, the Heat. Ooh, I think I'm taking the Celtics in 7. Jimmy Butler, he started off really, really good, really good. MVP candidate. He still is an MVP candidate, but definitely not as good as he's been. Uh, he's not that good of a scorer. He averages like 21 points per game. He's not that efficient. He's obviously a bad three-point shooter, but he is one of the best defenders in the NBA. I mean, he's a really good two-way player. He he averages like 6, 7 assists per game. He's a really good playmaker for his position. Um, Bam Adebayo, he's a good defender, but he just hasn't been that good this season. I know he tore something. I think he tore a ligament in his hand, and that obviously didn't let him play for a while. But Kyle Lowry, I don't even know when's the last time he played, and I didn't even know he was like injured until like a month ago. Here, let me tell you his injury. Oh, personal reasons. Because I knew it because I was like, I swear Kyle Lowry didn't get injured, but personal reasons. Okay, he's been back. But yeah, Kyle Lowry is still a really good point guard. Like he's obviously not a scorer. He's never really been a scorer, but he still averages 8 assists per game. Like he's still good. Um, but it all depends on how Bam plays, I think, because the Heat have Tyler Hero off the bench. They have PJ Tucker. They have all these good players that all these good defenders like Bam you can put on Jason Tatum, on Jalen Brown you could put PJ Tucker or Jimmy Butler, and if Jimmy Butler doesn't have the best scoring game, there's Tyler Hero off the bench who could literally just go off for so many points. But I think I have the Heat in 7 for sure. I think, yeah, it'll be really close, but yeah, I think the Heat in 7. Um, and yeah, we'll do one more topic. I'm gonna do my MVP ladder. My MVP ladder. So at number 1, you could say this is biased, but I have Giannis at my number 1 because when we look at this, Giannis is second in PR. He plays not that many minutes. I think he only averages like 32 minutes a game. I wish Mike Budenholzer played him 36, 40 minutes per game. His stats would be crazy. In that little short amount of time, I think he plays the 70 most minutes. But in the league, right now he's second in scoring in the league, 29.8 points per game. That's crazy. 11 and a half rebounds, which is fifth, and 5.8 assists per game. He's also first in defensive player of the year ranking. Averaging like a he's averaging a block and a half per game, 1.1 steals. I mean, yeah. He plays 33 minutes per game. Yes, his turnovers are at 3.2. And obviously he has fouling problems, but come on. And also, the Bucks are at top 3, top 4 seed. So come on. At number 2, I have Nikola Jokic. I mean, I my prediction on him was so bad. Before the season started, I was like, there's no way he has a better season than last year. I had his rebounds around the 10, 11 mark, and his assists per game like at 7. And he's just destroyed that. He's number 1 in PER. He's averaging 26 points per game, which is ninth in the league. 13.8 rebounds per game, which is second behind Rudy Gobert. And 8.1 assists per game. That's seventh as a center. As a center. And also, I know people have always said that one thing that holds him back is his defense, but he's definitely brought that up like a lot since last year. He's still not like the best defender ever, but he's definitely improved it. He's also a good three-point shooter, and uh, yeah, he's just really good. I mean, and he's still carrying the Nuggets without having their second and third best player in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Now, at number 3, I have Joel Embiid. And for anyone who says Joel Embiid is number one, then you don't watch the Sixers. Joel Embiid is averaging 29.9 points per game. He's first. That's really switching off between him, Giannis, and LeBron pretty much like every day. He's averaging 11.4 rebounds. That's eighth. 4.4 assists per game, and he's third in PER. Um, Obviously, Joel Embiid is a good defender. Uh, he's shooting 36% from three, 48% from the field, which could definitely go up. But the thing about Joel Embiid that doesn't make him better than Giannis or Jokic is that he's not that good of a scorer. I People are calling him the best scorer in the game. I no, like seriously. Take in, he averages 11 free throws per game. 11. Like, honestly, if he didn't get as many free throws as he did, like, if he just averaged 5, 6 a game, he would probably average 26 points per game, 25 points per game. Like, dude, there's literally games where he'll score 40, but 20 of the points are from the free throw line, and he went for, like 8 for 20, and people are calling him the MVP because they don't actually watch the game or check the stats. Like that, the 76ers are so boring to watch because him and James Harden are literally just racking up fouls. They get every single call. And I hope they don't do that in the playoffs because that's going to be so annoying to watch and it'll just be so catered to them. So I really hope they don't do that in the playoffs, the refs. But yeah, but again, Joel Embiid is still a good player, but he's starting to get overrated by a lot. And yeah, that's gonna be the last topic for today. Um, the fun fact for today is Vince Carter, if you didn't know, was actually drafted by the Warriors, but then he was traded to the Raptors. So yeah, I didn't even know that until like a year ago. I always thought he was just drafted by the Raptors, but nope, he was drafted by the Warriors. I didn't even know that. Also, on the last episode, I know I said it was gonna be on Apple Podcasts, but it's just not working, like at all. So that's not working, but it's up on Spotify and YouTube, and that's where this one will go too. The next one will for sure be an NFL one. So much stuff has happened. Devontae Adams got traded to the Raiders, which I'm really excited about. Uh, the Raiders got Chandler Jones. Uh, they got the cornerback from the Colts, Yasin. Um, Allen Robinson signed with the Rams. Von Miller's with the Bills. Just a lot of stuff now has just happened. So the next one will be football, but that'll be it for this one. I ran out of topics. I didn't think I was gonna go through that so fast. I'm just getting more used to this, so uh, I'm starting to get less awkward, but it's still new to me, so yeah. But make sure to like and subscribe.